Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an amazing day. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and on this channel we dive into all things manifestation, stepping into your power, and consciously creating the life that you desire on purpose from the inside out. So if any of that interests you, you're in the right place. So if you've been watching my last previous videos, you can notice I'm in the same outfit. I look the exact same because what I often do is I'll kind of like do a bunch of videos back to back on the same day, because it's like I'll have one video in mind, and then as I'm doing that one, I get the idea for the next one, and then I get the idea for the next one. So anyways, that's kind of my process. So you'll typically notice, just as an FYI, if you're here, you'll notice that like usually there's a couple videos where I look the exact same back to back, and it's because I just do them like right in a row when the ideas are flowing. So anyways, I just mentioned that because I'm often also like referencing the videos that I'll often say like, okay, I just recorded a video and we talked about this, and I'm mentioning it because then I'm going to like riff off of it in this video. So anyways, like usual, I just recorded a video where we talked about how you are the manifestation. I'll link it above so you can go watch it if you haven't yet. And how, there's nothing outside of you. It's you. What you really crave is more you. And so in this video, I want to talk about like another way of looking at that also helped me really understand it. So I think with these concepts, sometimes like you have to approach it from different angles to find the way that really resonates with you the most. And I feel like this is just a theme today that we've been talking about in the last few videos. It's just about how this whole process of manifestation is really about you finding what feels good for you. And it's the same way with even like information. Like if you are listening to somebody, or, maybe it's a podcast or other YouTuber or somebody, a book or something, and the way they're talking about it, like you like the idea of learning this information, but the way they're talking about it just isn't resonating with you, that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad or wrong. I'm sure it's helpful to somebody else, but you need to find the things that feel good to you. Like when you're listening to someone talk, it should be like, oh my gosh, I'm excited to hear from them. It's lighting me up. There's something about their energy. I can't quite put my finger on it that, is really resonating with me. And hopefully if you're here, that's because you feel that with me. And it's the same way that I feel with the people that I listen to or the people that I've learned from. It's like, I learn from them because there's something within me that lights up when they talk. And sometimes that, what's the word? Transitions. Like sometimes I'll have somebody that I'm listening to, and then eventually over time, maybe after a year or a few years, it kind of transitions out. And then I'm working with somebody new, or I'm listening to somebody new. And, so we go through phases, and there's certain people that we learn from and listen to at different phases of our journey. So anyways, all that to say, like the info, even how you take this information in should feel good to you. That's even part of the process, is about you letting yourself feel the best that you can feel along the way. There's no reason you should be having to learn in a way that doesn't feel good for you. So, anyways, back to my point, which is that I really think that sometimes we have to hear things from different angles for it to like really sink in. And sometimes we have to hear things said in a different way, or from a different person, or, even the same idea, just like repackaged into like different words. So anyways, like I said in the previous video, when I first understood the topic that I talk about in that video, it really resonated with me. And then when I heard the topic that we're going to talk about in this video, it hit it even in like a deeper way. So what we're going to talk about today is this idea that you don't create the manifestation. You create the environment within yourself that then draws that manifestation to you. And I want to be cautious with this wording, because I feel like sometimes when you say it draws it to you, it can make you feel like something separate or outside of you. But we know here, right? We know here, especially from the last video, nothing's outside of you. What you're really craving is more of you. And along those same lines, this idea that you're not creating the manifestation. The manifestation is already done. It's already created. Like you're not the one that has to go out there and figure out how you're going to get this exact perfect thing that you've been wanting. And you need to plan out every detail, and you need to have it all created in your mind perfectly. And then it can come to you. Unless, here's the caveat to everything today, unless that feels good. If you're a person who like, you love visualizing, you want to visualize every detail, you want to create it from scratch in your mind and that like lights you up. Okay, go for it. But if you're like me, then that actually can sometimes create more strain because sometimes I just feel like I can't visualize everything. Or sometimes it's like, I don't even fully know the thing that I'm really desiring. And I don't want to visualize it because it's like, I want to leave it open-ended. I want it to be like as big and as grand as it could be. And I don't want my limited ability to visualize to kind of cramp it down. So, just know that you don't have to, you're not creating the manifestation. The manifestation is already created. You are creating the environment within yourself that allows that manifestation to come into your reality. So what I mean by this, we're going to dive into it, is that you are creating like your only job, your only focus, your lane is you. The second that you start looking outside of you and getting your hands in all these different buckets over here is when our energy gets dispersed and it gets scattered and it becomes like watered down. Like our manifestation power becomes, or I shouldn't say our manifestation power because we're always manifesting, but like our ability to consciously create what we desire gets watered down because we're over here, we're over here, we're over here. We have our hands in too many buckets and we're like basically trying to do too many things and we're dispersing our energy. So our signal, if you will, gets weaker in terms of consciously creating what we desire. And so, your only focus is right here. Your only focus is right here within you in your own lane. And it's about you creating an environment within yourself that is a match to the thing you desire. So, for example, like we're just going to use the example of a relationship. Okay, you want this relationship. It's not your job to figure out the how. It's not your job to figure out where you're going to meet this person, how you're going to meet them, when it's going to happen, every single thing about them, every single thing about the relationship, every single minute detail of it, and needing to plan it all out. That's not your job. Your job is in here and to create the environment within yourself that fosters that manifestation. So how you could do that is, and I talked about this a lot in the last video, but again, just go with me here. It's that you imagine that relationship and you figure out what does that feel like to you? Because again, it will feel different to everybody. We all have our own version of what feels most in alignment for us. So you just feel into, again, you don't need to go into the details unless that feels good, but like, what's the feeling? The feeling of having that relationship. Maybe it's for you, it's comfort, it's safety, it's unconditional love. Maybe it's excitement, it's adventure, it's joy. Maybe it's laughter and silliness and like igniting your inner child. Maybe it's very like there's a lot of intellectual stimulation and like it's really like you're getting to think about things in new ways and you're growing together, or it's some combination of all of these things and more. But it's about, okay, how do I feel in that experience? And how can I now create this environment within myself that would even foster that manifestation? Meaning like you have to be attractive to that thing that you want in order for it to come to you. Again, not that it's anything outside of you, but like if we're talking about it in terms of, okay, you want to have this physical experience. Well, it's about you creating the environment within yourself. And along that process is you coming into the knowing that it's really not about the thing at all. It's about you becoming that version of yourself, which again, we talked about it in the last video. So go back and watch that if you want to hone in on that even more. But this is like, once you really truly understand, okay, there's nothing outside of me, but if I want to have this experience in my life, then I have to create the environment. I want you to think about it like you've probably heard the metaphor of like a garden before. I often hear people talking about, how like manifestation is like planting the seeds and all this stuff. But I want you guys to think about how it's like setting up the soil. When you're planting a garden, you want to make sure that your soil is really rich and nutrient dense and fresh and lush. And, it might have different layers to it where like, okay, the bottom layer is this. And then we add some twigs and leaves and other like kind of compost materials. And then we add this particular soil. And then we add some, fertilizer on top. And then what you've done is you've created an environment where your particular seeds can grow. And different environments can foster different growth. So for example, maybe you've created this particular blend of soil and that's really conducive to these particular plants. But then there's another type of soil blend that you make that you found works better for these other plants, right? And so you create the different environments that foster different type of growth. And so it's the same thing within yourself. Use that same analogy within yourself. You are just creating the environment. You're the soil. Okay? You are the fresh soil. How are you going to attract in or foster the growth of the particular manifestations you desire if your soil is dead, it's lacking in nutrients, it's not lush, it hasn't been watered or hasn't been given enough time to fully decompose or whatever? Like, it can't foster. You might plant the seeds in it, but they might not grow. You might get a couple sprouts here and there. You might get one plant that grows, but you're not going to really be satisfied because you didn't create the environment that fosters growth. And it's the same thing within yourself. If you have your sight set on a manifestation, but you're going after it without really first creating an environment in here that would even foster the growth of that, then again, like that, like those seeds, you might experience like some form of that manifestation or different forms of it, but it's never going to feel like the thing because you didn't actually create the environment within yourself where it could fully flourish and grow. And so this is oftentimes why people experience like, maybe they experience like like halfway there. Like it's almost like, well, I kind of got it, but like I didn't get the full thing. Or like I had experiences that were similar, but not the thing I really wanted, because maybe you were kind of halfway there, but you didn't really focus on, am I staying in my lane? My lane is in here. It's about me creating the environment within myself that is going to foster this manifestation. Like, why would this, I actually want to use the analogy too of like, if you're to imagine that the manifestation is almost like a pet or a kid or something. It's like, okay, why would that thing want to come live here if it's not the right environment for it? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you have, you want to have like a pet Siberian husky, but you live in like a really hot, sunny, tropical climate. Well, you're not really fostering the environment that Siberian husky would like thrive in. Why would it come live there? It doesn't want to. It wants to live in, the cold. It wants to live somewhere in the north. It wants to live somewhere maybe in the mountains or the woods where it's going to snow. And you know what I mean? Like why would something want to come live with you if you're not a match for it? And it's the same thing with the things you desire in your life. And this is not to shame you. This is not to say like, oh, great. Like if the relationship's not here, I'm somehow not a match for it, or I'm not good enough for it, or I'm still not there yet. No, we're not going there. This is just from a neutral perspective of, okay, let me take a look at myself and say, okay, this is the thing that I want or that I've been really desiring. I know that it's not about the thing, that it's just about me becoming more me, but what is this thing signaling to me? It's that this thing in my mind, I associate with the feeling of like safety and comfort. Okay. So have I created an environment in myself that would even foster that type of connection with somebody or with the thing? Or am I constantly feeling like anxious and unsettled and like I don't feel safe in myself, or I don't feel comforted in myself, okay, then are you thinking it's just going to come out of thin air and someone's just going to like give that to you and say, here it is now? No, right? Like we have to create an environment where that could even come to you in the first place. Because the other thing that can happen is, let's say something did come to you and it felt like it was the things you were wanting. What often happens is, unless you have fostered that environment within yourself, then that thing isn't actually very stable or steady in your life. And like, let's just say it's a relationship. You might have somebody come into your life that's like, oh my God, they're all the right things. They're giving me this, this, and this. But what's happening is it was built on a shaky foundation because you didn't foster it within yourself first. And if and when that person leaves, you're left with nothing because you put all your emphasis on that person being the thing that was going to give it to you. And when they came, it felt good and you were in that energy. But when they left, you didn't have it. And it can create all different types of issues. Like if we're just using this relationship example, let's say you haven't created an environment within yourself where you feel the things you desire to feel. And then a person comes into your life and you're looking for them to fulfill all those things. Oftentimes that can lead to a lot of relationship issues because you're looking to that person to fulfill a role within yourself that's yours to fulfill. And so oftentimes the relationship never feels fully satisfying, or the other person gets frustrated and leaves, or, it leads to issues where you don't feel fully connected and you're still not feeling like you're there yet because you didn't fully foster this connection, this feeling within yourself. So let me know down below. Is this making sense? Are you guys getting this? What questions do you have? You don't create the manifestation. You don't figure out the how, the when, the what, the why, all the details. You stay in your lane. You create the environment within yourself. How do you do that? By sitting with yourself and taking some time to understand, okay, what is it that I desire to feel from these things that I want? What's the desired feeling? Okay. And then taking time with yourself each day to really practice cultivating that feeling within, not because it's going to come from something outside of you, but because you are creating that environment within yourself for yourself, simply for the sake of you getting to feel that the way that you want to feel. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay, we're going to leave it here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope this landed and resonated with you. Like I said, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you liked, what you want more of, what questions you have. I love interacting with you guys and really getting this kind of community feel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot. And if you want to work with me further, you can check the description box down below where I've got links to the 14-day free trial for the membership, which is my monthly subscription platform where we do live energy healing calls every month. We do live group calls every month, or we do like Q&A, group coaching, deep dives on specific topics. There is a living library of content that includes guided meditations, affirmations, journal prompts, and lots of other fun stuff. So it's a great place to be if you're interested in all of that. And if you like learning from me, that's where I would recommend you go. And then if you're looking for more individualized help, I've also got the links to my one-on-one sessions. There's single sessions, session packages, and then the link to apply for my more like kind of high level intensive one-on-one program. So check out the links below. Other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Sending you so much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.